Hey guys, thanks for joining me for this beginner's yoga. So this is one for you if you are completely new to yoga, you've not stepped on a yoga mat before, if you're perhaps returning to a practice, or if you are just looking for something a bit more gentle and a bit more explanatory, then yeah, this is going to be great for any of those. So come and join me on a mat. We are going to come into what's known as easy pose. So this is simply a cross-legged seated position. So I know that this may not be a comfortable seat for everybody. Everybody is different. So if kneeling is better for you, come to kneeling, or an alternative way to sit where you can stay comfortably for a few minutes. So another option, if you are cross-legged, is to use some blocks if you have them. No worries if not. A couple of cushions or books can have the same effect. So you can just place these under the knees, and that just might bring some more comfort for you in this easy pose. So just do what's working for you. The key here is to listen to your body. So once you're ready and you're comfy in your seat, we're just going to close the eyes. You can just rest the hands down on top of the knees. So we're just going to spend a few minutes here with the breath, tuning into our breath. So just begin to draw your lower belly in and up, and you should already feel the spine beginning to lengthen. Your posture already improving. Soften the shoulders down from your ears. And begin to relax your face. Relax the forehead. Relax the jaw. And then begin to observe your breath. So breathing in and out through the nose. If at any time you need to breathe through the mouth, then feel free to do whatever you need. So if you feel comfortable to, then just start to deepen and lengthen the breaths now. And we'll just take a couple more breaths in and out. Just watching the breath flowing through you. And we're going to just take one more breath in through the nose and then exhale out through the mouth. So this is our cleansing breath. So in through the nose. Empty out. And then you're welcome to reopen the eyes. And we're going to just take a nice big inhale, lift the arms up overhead. As you exhale, bring your hands to a prayer at your heart center. And again, inhale. And exhale. Inhale, nice long spine. Exhale. And one more time, inhale. This time, as we exhale, we're going to take that left hand to the right knee. Right fingertips pressed down behind the right hip. Now use that right hand as an anchor to lift and lengthen through your spine. Nice inhale, lift up all the way through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, start to gaze over the right shoulder. So just a nice gentle twist here, just warming the body. And with your inhale, reach the arms up again. And exhale, right hand to left knee, left hand behind the hip. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Growing really tall through the spine, and let your exhale take you into your twist over that left shoulder. Take another breath in and out. Inhale back to the center, reach the arms high. And exhale, hands to the heart again. Good. We're just going to drop the hands down by the sides and just bring our right ear down to our right shoulder. It's just coming into a nice neck stretch here. Close your eyes at any time that you feel that you'd like to settle in. Focus on the breath. So really opening up down that left side of the neck and into the left shoulder. Come back to the center and we'll switch sides. So left ear down to left shoulder, opening up through the right side. And just let any tension go. Let those exhales soften and relax the muscles. And come back to the center, and then we'll lower chin down to the chest for a stretch along the back of the neck. Come back up, and then we'll lift the gaze up now, just coming to a comfortable stretch, not going too far. Also a nice opening through the chest and the throat. And come back to the center. Good, and we'll come into a side body stretch now. So we're going to start on the right side. Right hand comes down to the mat. Take an inhale and reach that left arm up high and over. So you'll feel that stretch all the way down the left side waist. Breathe into that side body. So send your breath to the area of the stretch. If it's comfortable on your neck, you can take your gaze up towards the hand. And we're going to exhale, lower it all the way down, and we'll take it to the other side now. So the left hand comes down and we reach the right arm up. Big inhale. And exhale. Really opening up through the right side, creating space. Try and stay connected to your breath. And inhale, bring both arms up now. And exhale, draw the hands back to the heart. And we're going to move over onto all fours now. So make your way over onto hands and knees. Stack the wrists under the shoulders here and the knees under the hips. So if you have any discomfort from the knees being down on the floor, feel free to place some extra padding under, maybe a blanket or a towel. And we're going to take an inhale. As we do, we're going to arch through the spine, lift the chest, open up the chest, drawing the shoulder blades towards one another. And on our exhale, start to round through the back. The shoulder blades will spread apart, so you should feel a bit of a stretch across the upper back. Bring the chin towards the chest. And inhale, arch. Gaze forwards, open up the heart and the chest area. Exhale, round in and drawing the belly in. Inhale, arch in. Exhale, round. hug the belly in. So engage in the core. Inhale one more time, just making the spine nice and warm. Exhale round. Now come to a neutral spine now, so a flat back. And we're going to extend our left leg back behind us, tuck the toes, so press the toes down to the floor, and then send that left heel away from you. So you should feel a stretch through the lower leg, through the calf muscle. So keeping that back body nice and long, belly drawn in, pushing palms to earth, taking some slow and steady breaths. And then from here, start to lift the foot away from the ground. We want to keep the hips square here. So think of sending toes down towards the mat and that outer thigh down. So hips nice and square, pushing palms to ground and drawing the belly in and up. And once you're feeling balanced, option to stay here, that's absolutely fine. Or if you'd like to go further, reach the right arm forwards, thumb pointing towards the sky for our spinal balance. Keep drawing the belly in. So really waking up the core muscles. Really press that left heel towards the back of the room and reach the right fingers forward. So as if you've got one long line of energy all the way through the body. One more breath in. And an exhale. And lower down. Good. And now take the right leg back. Press the toes to the ground and send that right heel away for a calf stretch. Spine stays nice and long. Just releasing the lower legs. And then we'll lift that foot away from the ground, hips square, flex the foot so the toes are facing down towards the earth. Draw the belly in. And then maybe reaching left arm forwards, thumb towards the sky. Reaching the fingers as far as you can and pressing that heel as far away as you can behind you. And lower, and just set everything back down. Now just take a seat so hips come back over the heels, and we'll just stretch out the wrists a little bit. So bring the palms together, interlace the fingers, and just make some circles with the wrists. Bring the elbows together. And switch directions. Just do this a couple of times. If you're feeling any pressure in the wrist, it's not something that you're used to, you might feel a little bit achy. So just give the wrists some attention, give them a little bit of a stretch out. Alright, and then we are going to come back to all fours, find that table pose, wrists under the shoulders, and then take the hands about another handprint forwards. We're going to tuck the toes, really lift the belly up here, and we're going to push the palms down firmly into the ground, spreading the fingers wide, and then starting to lift the knees away from the floor. So we're coming into a downward facing dog. We're going to keep the knees really nicely bent here, so nice big bend. Try to relax the head between the shoulders, sending your gaze between the ankles so you can make that bend as big as you need to. So you want to keep the spine nice and long here. And over time, you may be able to start straightening out the legs, as long as you can keep the back nice and straight. So don't compensate straightening the legs for a rounded spine. So you want to keep everything nice and open. Slow and steady breaths. Really pushing down through all four corners of the hands here. Let's go for one more breath. Keep drawing the belly in. And we're going to just take a walk up to the top of our mat. So bend the knees as much as you need to. Take a walk all the way. Bring the feet in between the hands now. Bring the feet up to meet the hands. And then we're going to come into ragdoll. So we're going to take hands to opposite elbows and just let the upper body drape over the legs. Again, bend the knees as much as you need to. So if you're feeling tight in the hamstrings, bend those knees. So try to just relax everything here. Let the shoulders soften down. Relax the face. Just let any tension go. And just have a nice stretch all the way through the entire back body. And we're going to lower the hands down and start to roll up through the spine. Take your time to get there, coming all the way up to standing. Good, well done. So from here, we are going to come into a warrior two pose. So we're going to take a nice big step back on our mats. So nice wide stance here. Once you've stepped back, you're going to turn that left foot so that it's parallel to the short edge of your mat. The front knee is bent and that right knee is stacking over the right ankle. That front heel is lining up with the arch of the back foot. Now think of really gluing your feet to the mat, in particular the edge at the outer edge of your left foot. Really press that down into your mat. Sink down into the hips, and then once you have the legs, then you can take the arms out wide, gazing towards the front fingers. So that right knee may be a little further back or stacking the ankle. We don't want it to be further than the ankle. So really strengthening the legs and opening up the hips. So the hips are opening up towards the left here. Try stacking the shoulders over the hips. Making sure that you're not reaching too far forwards or maybe too far back. Find that nice centered position for a strong warrior two. Now you are welcome to stay here, or we're going to just add a little bit of movement. So take an inhale, straighten the front leg and bring the hands to touch at prayer overhead. As you exhale, sink back down, warrior two. Inhale, rise, straighten that leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale. Tuning into that breath. Inhale. Exhale. We'll go for one more. Inhale. Exhale. And then just straighten the front leg. Have a little bit of a break here for a minute. So we're going to move from here into a side angle pose. So we're going to come back to the same warrior two legs, so bending into the front knee. We're keeping that wide stance. Our feet are exactly the same now. We're just going to take the right forearm onto the right thigh and then reach the left arm up and over. So you're really opening up all the way down through the side of, through the left side of the body. Try to keep this shoulder nice and open. So we're kind of going on a diagonal line here. Chest stays open. Another way, you can use your block here by bringing that block to the inside of the foot. If you want to start going deeper into this, bring the hand down onto your block. So same principle here. And then gradually maybe being able to bring hand down to the floor. Just for now, we're just propping the arm onto the thigh. Slow, steady breaths. And then as you inhale, start to straighten the leg, come all the way up, and we're going to turn the right foot so that's also now parallel to the mat. So we're facing towards the left side now. So we're coming into a wide-legged fold, so really press down into the feet. Take a nice big inhale and lift up all the way through the spine. Grow really nice and tall. And we're going to start to hinge forwards from the hips. So we keep the spine nice and long. Start to exhale, hinging forwards. So we lower our hands. This is another time that you can maybe use blocks or your books. Lowering hands down to your props or all the way to the floor. Just releasing the head. And feel free to bend the knees here if you are feeling any tightness in the legs and the low back. Keep a nice bend there. Good, and we're going to come up onto the fingertips press into the floor or onto your prop. Take an inhale, start lengthening out the spine as you lift up just halfway. Soften the knees, take the hands onto your hips and come all the way up to stand. Good. We're going to turn our feet now so that they're facing the top of the mat. So we're going to, a little bit tricky to explain that, but just lower ourselves down, use the hands to take you down. We're coming all the way down for a low lunge. So our back knee is now resting to the floor. Remember, you can use extra padding under the knee if you need. Right knee is stacking over that right ankle. I'm going to bring the hands to the heart. And then think of drawing the lower belly in and up. So you might be pressing the hips forward slightly if you're feeling the need for a deeper stretch. Again, if you're a bit tighter, you may be a little bit further up. So just really listening to your body. Listen to what you need at this moment. And each day that may be different. We're going to reach the arms up now. Again, tight shoulders may mean you keep your hands at the heart center today. Lifting the ribs away from the hips. Drawing the belly in and up. And we're going to lower hands down to the floor, tuck the back toes, and we're just going to lightly step that foot to meet the right foot. Bend the knees, sink down into the hips. We're going to come into a chair pose, so bring the hands to your heart. So literally as if you're sitting out on a chair, so you're bending the knees, you're sitting the hips back. So the back is long here, the chest is open. Now we just want to think of, again, drawing the belly up, but also just tilting the pelvis slightly, just to avoid excessively arching the low back. So lower belly in and up. So this is a leg burner. I apologize. So good for strengthening the legs though, strengthening the glutes, the quads. Now with an inhale, reach the arms up, straighten the legs. Exhale, sink back down, chair pose, hands to heart. Draw belly in, lengthen spine, open chest. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, sink it down. Inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhale. Exhale, and then stand it all the way up. Good, hands to heart. Now we are going to switch sides. So we're going to step the right foot back now, coming into that warrior two. So we're bending the front knee. Our back foot is parallel to the mat. We're sinking down into the hips, just to where you comfortably can today, so we're not pushing this too much. And once you've got the legs and you're feeling steady and balanced, reach the arms out. And think of sending this left knee over towards the left edge of your mat, so that this left knee has the, or either side, whatever side you're doing this on, this front knee can have the tendency to collapse inwards. So we really don't want that to be happening. We want to send that leg over to the edge of the mat. So keeping that thigh nice and strong. Stay here if you choose, or on an inhale, reach the arms up, straighten the front leg. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, lower. And straighten the leg. Have a break for a moment, and we're going to come into our side angle pose. So we'll rebend that left knee, take forearm to the thigh, reach the right arm up and over. So really pressing down through the feet, strong foundations. So that is where the pose starts, all the way out the ground. Set your foundations. Opening up through the right side body. Keep that left knee turning, or it's pressing towards the left edge, so it's not collapsing inwards. And begin to straighten. We're going to turn the left foot parallel again to the top edge of the mat. I am going to turn round because I don't want to block the whole screen with my behind. So we are going to parallel the feet. Again, nice big inhale to lift and lengthen through the spine and up to the crown of the head. Start to hinge forwards. And then lower yourself down, hands coming down to something, to the floor, to your prop maybe. And we're just going to stay here for one breath. And then we're going to walk the hands over to take a hold of the left leg. So maybe taking the ankle, the shin, somewhere where you can reach. So just trying to hug that leg in towards you. And then walk the hands across your mat and over to the right. And release, bring hands back to the center. Start to come onto the fingertips. Inhale, lift up halfway. Soften the knees, hands to the hips. Let your exhale bring you all the way back up. And then we're going to turn the toes to face the top of the mat. I am obviously standing the wrong side, so I'm just going to switch it over, and then we're going to lower down for a low lunge. So bring the hands to the floor, lower that back knee down, stack left knee over left ankle. Find your lunge, so your version. Maybe you're upright, maybe you're coming into a deeper stretch, pressing the hips a little further forwards. Hands to heart to begin. Draw the belly in and up. Take a few breaths here. Press down into that left foot. And just try to make sure you're not holding tension in any other area here. So maybe you can soften and relax the shoulders, maybe the face. And let's reach the arms up. Biceps in line with the ears. Lifting ribs away from the hips. Keeping the core engaged. Think of squeezing the inner thighs towards one another here. Keep the legs engaged. lower the hands down, tuck the back toes, and take a step to the top of the mat. Sink the hips down, bend the knees again for chair pose. So hands are coming to the heart. We are sinking it down into the hips, drawing the belly in, lengthening back body and opening up front body. On an inhale, reach the arms up, stand tall. Exhale, sink down for chair. Inhale, stand it up. Exhale, sink down. Inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Good. And stand it all the way up. And then hands to the heart. Good, well done. And then we're just going to bring ourselves down onto all fours. So just make your way down, no particular way of coming down. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Let's take it through some more of those cat and cows. So on an inhale, drop the belly, arch the spine, gaze forwards. Exhale, hug the belly in, round through the spine. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale. And exhale. Come to a neutral spine. Sink the hips back over the heels. Widen the knees to as wide as your mat. And then walk the hands forwards, lowering your head down to the mat if possible, or perhaps onto your block or cushion. So we're here in child's pose. So often we're coming back here at a time for a rest, to reconnect. So when you start to delve a little bit deeper into your practice, you will probably come here quite a lot. It's a nice stretch all the way through the back body. Time to reset. And then begin to lift the head, walk the hands back up. And we're going to make our way over into a seat. Bringing the legs around. We're going to come into boat pose. So we are going to bring the knees into the chest. So bring them in nice and close towards you. Take the hands behind the thighs, behind the backs of the thighs, and then you can probably already feel the core engaging. Lift and lengthen through the spine. So we want to keep that spine as long as possible, avoiding rounding through the back. So we'll either stay here or see if you can begin to lift the heels and maybe lift in one foot. You may lift the other, or you may alternate, so lowering one foot down and then the other. So you're already working the core, and this is also working the hip flexors. So you will feel this in two areas. So you might lift both feet off of the floor at the same time. Just check in that you're not beginning to round through the back. Stay in here for a few breaths, or continuing to switch between the sides, lowering one foot at a time or lifting one foot at a time. You might reach the arms forwards, or this may be something that will come at a later date, no worries. Stay for another breath, just feel that core really firing up, feel the hip flexors working too. And then lower the feet all the way back down, and we're going to make our way onto our backs. So lower the forearms down, bring yourself nice and slowly down onto your back. Okay, and we're going to come into a bridge pose from here. So the knees are bent, the feet are flat to the floor and about hips width apart. Draw the heels in close to you, so you should probably just be able to graze the heels with your fingertips. Arms down by the sides. Press the backs of the arms into the earth. We're going to take an inhale and start to lift the hips away from the floor. So again, just come in up to your height. So any discomfort here, bring yourself out. Listen to your body at all times. Think of squeezing the inner thighs in towards each other now so that the knees are not splaying out like this. They are facing forwards and staying at that hips width distance. So really pressing through the backs of the arms. And actively press your heels down. Think as if you were trying to drag your heels towards you. That's going to really engage the backs of the legs. One more breath here. And start to lower back down. We're going to hug the knees into the chest. And then we're going to take a twist. So we are going to reach the arms out to the sides and gently guide the legs. Use a hand here, maybe. So guide the legs over to the left side, just gently dropping knees down. Right arm staying nicely grounded down to the floor. Closing the eyes if you'd like. And then we're going to take it all the way over to the other side. A little bit of work with the core to bring your legs over, or using the hand if needed. And soften back down. Make your way back onto the back. I'm going to come back up to seated, so you can roll over to your side if you'd like, or just rock yourself back up. And we're going to extend the legs out in front of us. So we're going to come into a forward fold. So first of all, we are going to bend the knees. So pressing heels down to the earth and flexing toes up to the sky. So we're going to take an inhale, lengthen up through the spine. Start to hinge forwards from the hips here. So we're keeping the back nice and long, low back stays long. So hinging forwards and forwards, taking a hold of maybe the feet, maybe hands to the shins or the floor. So we're reaching the belly towards the thighs here. So the spine stays nice and long, gazing forwards. And then maybe you start to straighten the legs a little bit. And that's going to deepen the stretch through the hamstrings. Keep that length through the spine as much as possible. Breathe into that stretch. So send your breath. Visualize sending your breath to the backs of the legs. And then from here, you can just let the head drop down, upper back round for the last moment here. And then start to slowly rise back up. Good, and then come back into a seated position. So coming into that easy pose where we began, or an alternate seat of your choice. And just rest, hands down onto the knees, palms facing up. And close the eyes for a moment if they're not yet. And just take a moment here. Just observe your breath. Observe how your body is feeling. Notice any sensations within the body and just let them be. Taking this moment to simply breathe, observing the breath in quiet, and just giving your body time to soak in all of the good that you've just brought to it. All of the good that you've brought to both body and mind. And then from here, we'll take one cleansing breath, so inhaling through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. Bring your hands to heart center. And as we come to the end of our practice, be thankful to yourself for joining me on your mat today, for showing up. Often the hardest part is to arrive, is to get in the right mindset to do the practice. So show yourself some love, appreciate yourself. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.